The scene at Heathrow Terminal 4 felt like the start of a particularly British drama. Grey skies, anxious faces, and a sense of something ending. The air was thick with anticipation, the kind that makes every announcement over the loudspeaker sound like a verdict. People shuffled their feet, checked their watches, and tried to mask their nerves with forced smiles. Dr. James Thornton, a lifelong NHS doctor, looked as if he'd just lost his last hope. His shoulders were heavy, weighed down by more than just his carry-on. He was a man used to fixing things, but this was a problem he couldn't mend with medicine or advice. Beside him, his son Oliver clutched his passport, ready for a flight to Manila. The passport felt heavier than usual, as if it carried not just his identity, but the burden of expectations and dreams deferred. The unspoken question from everyone, the Philippines, for medical school. Whispers floated through the terminal as if the destination itself was a scandal. Was this failure or something else? Was it a desperate escape or a bold new beginning? The answer wasn't clear, not even to them. James could almost hear his colleagues. Thornton's lad couldn't hack it. Sent him off to the tropics. The words stung, echoing louder than the airport announcements, but that wasn't the truth. There was more to the story than anyone cared to ask. Oliver had done everything right. Top grades, volunteering, shadowing doctors. He'd followed every rule, ticked every box, and still found the door closed. Still, the UK system said, no, try again next year, or become an accountant. The rejection felt personal, as if the system itself was gatekeeping dreams. Leaving felt like defeat, but staying felt like surrender. The choice was impossible, yet it had to be made. Oliver was trading the prestige of a British university for the unknown, a place famous for beaches, not biochemistry. It was a leap into uncertainty, a gamble on a different kind of future. This wasn't a retreat, it was a rebellion against a system that had become a fortress. The gates that once promised opportunity now felt like barriers. As they moved toward the gate, it was a leap of faith, away from expectation, towards something uncharted. Every step was a silent protest, a refusal to be defined by rejection. They were walking away from the dream they were told to have, hoping to find a better one elsewhere. The polished floors reflected not just their images, but the weight of their decision. The tension wasn't just about leaving home. It was about leaving behind a system that no longer made sense. It was about searching for meaning in a world that had changed the rules. For Oliver, it was anxiety mixed with defiance. He was scared, but he was also ready to prove everyone wrong. For James, it was the hope that his son might find what he himself had lost, a sense of purpose, a place to belong, a future not dictated by someone else's rules. Sometimes, the bravest thing is to walk away, to choose the unknown over the comfortable, and to trust that the path ahead, though uncertain, might just lead somewhere better. And honestly, any decision that gets you out of Heathrow is a small victory. In the end, it's not just about where you're going, but what you're willing to leave behind. Why would anyone leave the UK for medical school? Because getting in is a brutal high-stakes game. Perfect grades are just the start. You need work experience, a flawless personal statement, and nerves of steel for the interview. 10 applicants for every spot. Most end up rejected, burned out before they even start. James saw it firsthand. Bright, compassionate students crushed by the process. The system rewards hoop jumping, not empathy. And if you do get in, years of debt, relentless exams, and little patient contact. The environment is isolating, competitive, and grinds down idealism. James didn't want Oliver to just survive. He wanted him to remember why he wanted to be a doctor. The promise of British medicine felt broken, metrics over humanity. To save his son's passion, they had to step off the conveyor belt. The idea started quietly, over coffee with Dr. Aris Cruz, a Filipino-British surgeon, in a sunlit corner of a bustling cafe. It was just a simple conversation, but sometimes the smallest moments spark the biggest changes. In the Philippines, you learn medicine by seeing patients from day one, Aris said, his eyes lighting up with pride. That simple idea grew, echoing in James's mind long after the coffee cups were empty. James dove into research, discovering accredited schools in Manila, American-style curriculums, and glowing testimonials from international students who were thriving, not just surviving, in a new environment. He reached out to families like the Patels, whose daughter was thriving in Manila, excited, not exhausted, and finding joy in her studies and new friendships. The contrast to UK med school was stark, crowded lecture halls, late nights, and a sense of isolation. Dr. Cruz invited James and Oliver for dinner, sharing photos of students learning together, supporting each other, and building bonds that lasted beyond the classroom. We call it Bayanihan, communal unity. You don't have to be the best, just do your best together, he explained, describing a culture where everyone lifts each other up. For Oliver, who often felt isolated by the relentless competition in the UK, this sounded like hope, a chance to belong. The idea was no longer a whisper. It was a call to action, growing louder with every story and every possibility. The more James learned, the more he saw a real alternative, a path that offered both challenge and support. Medicine could be about community, not just competition, about lifting each other up instead of racing alone. The Filipino approach valued teamwork, early patient contact, and genuine support, qualities that made all the difference. It wasn't a backup plan, it was a new vision, a chance to redefine what success could look like. Oliver saw a lifeline, not a compromise, and felt a spark of excitement for the first time in months. The decision became clear. It was time to leap, to embrace the unknown, and chase a brighter future. Sometimes the best ideas start as a quiet question, a gentle nudge in a new direction, and sometimes they become a roar you can't ignore, a movement that sweeps you up and carries you forward. For the Thorntons, this was that moment, a turning point filled with hope and possibility. They chose a different path, together, ready to face the future as a family and as a team. Manila was chaos, humid air, honking horns, and vibrant life everywhere. For James, it was overwhelming. For Oliver, it was exhilarating. The university campus buzzed with energy, students studying under palm trees, laughter echoing in the halls. Learning here was loud, collaborative, and joyful. On day one, senior students adopted Oliver, showing him the ropes and inviting him into their group. They called him Kuya Oliver, Big Brother. Here, camaraderie was real, not just networking. The Filipino value of pakikisama, smooth relations, was everywhere. In the UK, competition ruled. Here, everyone was family. The goal wasn't to beat your peers, but to help everyone succeed. Medicine didn't have to be a zero-sum game. In Manila, Oliver found a team, not rivals. Academics in Manila were rigorous, but practical. The philosophy, see one, do one, teach one. From the first semester, Oliver was practicing clinical skills, not just reading about them. In week 3, he was already taking blood pressure, guided by a professor with humor and patience. Mistakes were part of learning, not something to fear. Professors were mentors, approachable and invested in their students' growth. Teamwork was central, group projects, peer teaching, and shared resources. The focus was on building real-world skills, clinical reasoning, communication, and empathy. Students learned to talk to patients, not just memorize facts. The curriculum aimed to create doctors who could think, adapt, and care. It was a holistic education, brains and heart. Oliver felt challenged, but supported. Here, medicine was about people, not just science. And that made all the difference. Oliver's real transformation began in a rural barrio, far from campus comforts. He and his classmates lived in the village, working in a basic clinic with few resources. He saw more patients in a day than he would in a month back home, treating tropical diseases, malnutrition, and wounds. He wasn't just observing, he was doing, taking histories, dressing wounds, giving health talks. It was intense, real, and humbling. He learned that medicine is about improvising, listening, and understanding people's lives. A perfect diagnosis means nothing if the patient can't afford treatment. One day, he helped deliver a baby by flashlight in a nipa hut. In that moment, he felt the true purpose of medicine: service, connection, and presence. The barrio taught him more than any textbook. It taught him to be a healer, not just a doctor. Prestige faded, meaning took its place. This was why he wanted to be a doctor. The barrios taught Oliver humility and respect for local traditions. He learned from highlights, traditional healers, and saw their value in the community. Resourcefulness became a clinical skill. Rubber gloves as tourniquets, bamboo splints. Diagnoses relied on careful exams and patient stories, not endless tests. Family was central. Medical decisions were made together. Communication meant understanding culture, not just giving instructions. The doctors and nurses worked for love, not money. Their wealth was trust and gratitude, not salary. Medicine here was service, not status. Oliver saw what truly matters in healthcare. James visited Manila, anxious about his decision. At the Barrio Clinic, he saw Oliver transformed, confident, compassionate, purposeful. He watched his son explain, comfort, and connect with patients as people, not cases. The local doctor told James, "We may not have much, but we have our patients' trust. That is everything." James realized he'd lost that connection in the UK system. Oliver was learning to be a good human, not just a good clinician. That night, James felt peace for the first time in years. He hadn't sent Oliver down a lesser path, but a richer one. Here, in a dusty village, his faith in medicine was restored. Sometimes the best lessons are found far from home. This isn't about UK versus Philippines or which country has better universities. It's not a competition of rankings or reputations, but a deeper look at what truly matters in the making of a doctor. It's about what makes a good doctor, beyond textbooks and exams, beyond the walls of any institution. Is it the name on the degree or the ability to comfort, to listen, to care? Is it the prestige or the compassion shown in the quiet moments with patients? Oliver's journey shows that true excellence is found in humanity, not prestige. His story is proof that the heart of medicine beats strongest where empathy thrives. The Filipino system nurtured his skills and his soul, shaping him into more than just a medical professional. It taught him empathy, resourcefulness, and respect for people from all walks of life. These are the qualities that heal, that build trust, that prevent burnout, and that inspire hope in patients and families alike. This path isn't for everyone, but for many, it's a hopeful alternative. A chance to grow in ways a traditional route might not offer. There's more than one way to become a doctor, and each journey is as unique as the person taking it. Oliver will return to the UK a different kind of doctor, one who heals with both knowledge and heart, ready to make a difference wherever he goes. The best doctor isn't the one with the fanciest degree, but the one who truly cares, who listens, and who connects. Sometimes, the best place to learn that is far from where you'd expect, outside your comfort zone, in a world full of new challenges and lessons. Maybe the future of medicine is a little more human and a little more Filipino, blending knowledge with compassion for a better tomorrow.